What's up, guys? What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing? Can all hear Bulls on Wall Street? Guys, I want to talk to you today about something that's very, very important in trading this market. So we're in obviously a very hot market, and we've been in a hot market for 10 years. Don't let anybody ever tell you like one market's really that much better than another. In every market, there's always something going on. It does seem like this market's got a lot more what you'd call like big percentage gainers, at least on the small cap side. But in general, there's always, a lot of runners going around everywhere. But I want to talk to you because about sympathy plays today and why they're important and what you need to do. So one thing that you're noticing in this sector, in this market is, everybody's talking about like the Robin Hood traders and all these extra people at home. And, that may be true, but stocks tend to run in groups, especially certain types of stocks like that are like newer sectors or newer industries. And so what you really want to do, like if you see like XYZ stock go up, that's like some $5 stock that says it's got a coronavirus cure, then right, all the other ones start to go in that sector, and you want to pick them off one by one. Now it's a little bit tricky because you have to be very organized, and you also have to know how to find those opportunities, and then of course most importantly how to time them. So we did something very similar in EV companies yesterday, and this is how you really kind of want to play these things. So I had this NIO. We've been playing this thing back and forth, but NIO had a run to 1640 and it pulled back to 20 SMA a couple days ago. So once it taps into that 20 SMA for the first time, like I know, like I want to probably bounce this stock. So now I'm just waiting for some type of setup to emerge in it. And so like, when you see this and it's holding here, the next day it gaps up, and we're all over this thing. It has an ORB, and it starts to trend here. Even once it pushes, once it comes back into the VWAP, like when you get a big pullback like that, when that first test into the VWAP, if your 9 EMA's under, like that tends to be a good one. So I added this thing like right at the 12 spot, and I pretty much hold a chunk of it into the close. So what's happening though is like, this thing is at 1040, it starts to run. So now as this is starting to run, what you want to be really doing is, checking out like all the other ones, because like now what's going to happen is like, you can see like around 12, like Tesla started to go too. And I missed this move on Tesla, but we were already in a trender in NIO, and then all of a sudden around noon, Tesla goes. So what I'm thinking and looking for is like, okay, what can be the next stock that goes that's in that sector, right? This is electric vehicles, battery. So it's very important, like in your TC2000 or whatever you're using, to be like very, very organized. Like in TC2000, like you can make watch lists really for like anything. Like, so if I wanted to, trade silver stocks, you can go in here and they pick silver industry, and you'll see all the, different stocks pop up. Now, electric vehicles is a little bit newer of a sector, so it won't be in there. So you've got to make like a physical watch list of yourself. So we have NIO's going, Tesla is going. So now like what you want to do is start looking at like what could be a secondary play. So there's a few other names that typically go. So what you want to do is like wait and watch the charts and see like which one is starting to break. So we entered this workhorse, right as these stocks started to go, we started to shred down on this workhorse. I got like, right at this kind of like sweet spot as it started to break out from this flag. So I even missed the initial entry. And the reason sympathy plays can go so good is that if you just draw like a squiggly line or a horizontal line on a particular name and like think it's going to explode, it may go up, but you're not going to get necessarily like that hot heat. But what happens is if there's like a bull run in a particular sector, especially if the leader is going like Tesla, then the next leader, which is NIO, start to go, then they start to pick them off one by one. So now you start to see workhorse go. You have a breakout here. I mean, it's picture perfect. You can go some big size on this too, because the risk is really just down. You have this breakout here, and you got the consolidation here, 9 EMA here. I had like 10-cent risk on this trade. So you can go in as many shares as you really need to. When you have 10 cents, it's very, very liquid. And then you're just off to the races. Like as this thing is, popping up, you're essentially just scaling out and, trailing some for the rest of the day. But like, that's like how you really want to do it. And the kind of the clue was thinking was, like this NIO started to really bust loose at the open. And so now that's like a sign, right? Like one of them pulled back and is bouncing. And then, you see Tesla go at noon, and then you want to pick them off one by one. And then it's just a matter of, watching them. So like, that particular day, like you can see like Shill was kind of setting up, but it just didn't do anything. So, we chose Workhorse because like it was starting to trend. Like Shill is still like kind of holding on. Another one is that SPAC, like this one actually like started to pop up, but this one trades very, very thin. So I didn't necessarily see like an easy setup here, because even if when it broke here, like there was resistance like 20 cents away. So I was really waiting for like it to kind of clear like this zone before I entered. So I entered Workhorse because it was the cleanest. But that's typically how you want to do a sympathy play. Like just like that, yesterday we were doing the same thing. When mRNA had some news out yesterday, you can see here, like, see how like this. So mRNA has been a big trend. It had a downgrade yesterday in the pre-market. So it started to dump. If you see here, it's at $96. It starts to dump to $78. That's a big pullback, even for a large cap name. So as soon as that's like doing that, right, you can see like NVAX, we took a short on this NVAX. I got like about 143s. Yeah, so like it popped up, and I'm shorting for the green to red, and like you literally drop, 20 points, like very quickly in like 10 minutes. And it's just a sympathy setup. mRNA gets a downgrade. They're all extended. They're all a little bit long in the tooth. So now when one reverses, they all start to reverse. So like now you start to go. So a big part of trading is being organized. This comes from preparation. You can't be lazy. You can't depend on some chat room to tell you, right, different lists of stocks. Like some guy that has a chat room, he's probably focused in on this one name, and right, he's just trying to get you to buy some junk. You got to know all the different names in the sector. That comes from being organized. It comes from a little bit of experience, but really it's about just doing your homework and keeping lists of stocks and being aware of what runs with another. So like this NVAX, when it broke under this first handle, essentially, I shorted it with the stop at the VWAP. So I'm risking very, very little. In the green, the red spot is like right here. So like as soon as that hits, like I know this thing's gonna go, and now it's like just off to the races. Like I covered a little bit early. I got out of my last shares at 129. There's no easy way to scale out of these plays. Like it's literally like, say you have 400 shares. Like, I mean, you're literally just taking like take off half, quarter on the way down, because they happen so fast. And then when they get extended, they really rip too, back. You can see like mRNA, same thing. This is like, it's $91 against the 78 in 15 minutes. They happen really fast. So yeah, a lot of people like, they'll say like they held for like such monster move or whatever. I just have no luck with that. Like I think like when they're moving that fast, you scale out, you try to get the meat of the move as best as you can. Even if you have 100 shares of it, still scale out like 50 and 50. And if you have 400, then do 200, 100, so on and so forth. Yesterday was like a little bit of a slow day during parts of the day. But like this sympathy play, just this one setup, right? In terms of, we nailed NVAX at the open, based on the sympathy for mRNA, and then it had a big trade in, Workhorse at the end of the day, based on the sympathy of Tesla and NIO. And that's just like, that type of play happens every day. And over the years, like say biotechs, like a few years ago, like, they were doing like CAR-T, carcinoma, cancer drugs. And one company got approved and they just started going. You're seeing this with the Corona stuff, right? Like, all mRNA, NVAX, INO, they've been running together. EV companies. When oil stocks, like if you look at today, like what were like the top gainers of the day, what you'll see here is like a massive amount of oil stocks. You see here like ORB and all of these that start to go, like they're oil stocks today. Like see like this nice flag patterns and stuff like that. Look at these things. These are all oil names. So you have like a lot of awesome heat in these things. When one starts to go, like, man, you got to pay attention and just be really organized. In the beginning, it'll be like a little bit confusing because this is like kind of more of a setup where you have to think a little bit on the run, right? You have to go into your data bank of your brain and be like, all right, I'll do this. But once you kind of get your lists made, and you have a platform that kind of like allows you to find things very, very quickly, which I think is huge. Like, so everything, biotech, blockchain, Corona, you know, my favorite China names. And then TC1000 has their own list. So I can type in anything like, you know, software application. And you hit it, and like now, right, 176 companies that have software application will come up. And then I can apply filters and scans to that list or sort them by, you know, what's up the most the last 90 days, the 30 days, and I can start finding the names that maybe interest me. So anytime you see one like sector about to break out, go into it. And that's why, like, I do a lot of sector analysis with the group on Sundays for all our day trade members. You know, we do a Sunday market huddle. It's a nice class, usually lasts a couple hours. We get ready for the week. We kind of work out all this software and like how to get everything going. It's pretty cool. And there's just a lot of interesting stuff that, you know, you can learn from kind of going through the same routines over and over. So guys, hopefully that helps. Feel free to, you know, leave any comments or ask me any questions. And of course, I would always appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. Take care.